ain't just running in the gym. He see his buddies. He see them. Y'all don't see him, but he see them. Hold on, guys. Yeah. So wait, let me hold on for a second. Yeah, there he see them. Y'all don't see them because they ain't got them on the mat. They ain't got them on the video. But I know he looking at somebody. I'm looking at him looking at somebody. He looking to the left. And he looking at them. That little boy right there going to class. He going to class.
Behind another student, and as soon as he runs out, you see that student disappears, and a couple of other students disappear.
Cause they gone.
It's from one image to the next with no
explanation
how those students got to that position.
Okay, now I want to go to here. Hold on. Let me see what they're gonna say up here. Let me go right here. Now, when they start talking about these kids right here, they not on the same end with those mat boys. I don't know why he telling us to look at the Mets over here in the corner, because the Mets was over there on the other side. Why they showing us different sides? They should have decided where the Met. I just showed y'all the Met. It wasn't on this side. It was on the other side. Why is this video turned this way?
Those are the mats in which Kendrick Johnson was found. What you don't see is the top of the mats. And we know why that's important, because sheriff's deputies say that he climbed in through the top of the mat. They say that the students who found him were playing on top of those mats.
How he gonna get on top of the mat? The mats are laying down on the ground, y'all, not standing up. We don't lay those mats up because they can fall on a kid and hurt a kid. The mats remains on the gym floor, y'all. Those mats are not standing up. He making it look like he making it sound. He making it like he climbed into he climbed at the top of the mat. He can't even get his body down there in the mat. They have to roll him up. I know they rolled somebody. On the way he can get in that mat, they rolled him up in the mat. I'm just gonna tell you, if the mat already rolled up, y'all, it's on the floor. It's on the gym floor, rolled up. On the way the mat, he could be on the way Kendrick could get in that mat. If they roll him up in the mat, and it's gonna take tons of football players to help push that mat. I showed y'all that when I was in the gym. I showed you can't do that. That mat is heavy, y'all. It don't look heavy. That mat is so only people can move like the big boys on the football team gonna have to take a whole team to push that mat. So when Kendricks were walking across the floor, Kendrick looked like he was looking at some people. We don't know who he looking at, but it was, look, y'all, go back. It was some boys in the gym, though. Look at him. It was some numerous of boys in the gym. They ain't paying no attention to that. Hold on, let me push it. Hold up. Let me put it like, let me start it over. Okay. Okay, right here. Let me see. Maybe y'all can see it.
I mean, I assume it's the motion sensor camera. That was our first.
Let me take it. Let me take it back. I'm about to show y'all
Explanation of how those students got walking in from the right side of your screen there. He's behind another student, and as soon as he runs out, you see that student disappears, and a couple of other students appear rather, position or where the student went. You can see Kendrick.
But Max, but watch this.
walking at first, and then he runs out of the frame, and just like the first video,
he looking over there, y'all. He looking at somebody.
Just appear. No explanation of how they got to that point. You don't see them walk in. We've not edited these videos to just kind
I'm gonna show y'all something.
This is how we received them from the sheriff's office today. So the video seems to be jumping around. You're saying those aren't edits? Is that? I mean, I assume it's a motion sensor camera. Is that the way it's supposed to work? That it may take a few seconds for an image to register? That was our first question. When we see the images, especially of Kendrick with all these hours of video, it's like, well, what happened at the end of this, and how did these students appear? Was this video edited? So we reached out to both the school that owns the cameras that recorded it, and then the sheriff's office, which had a copy of it, which supplied it to us. I want to read you the statements. First, from the school district, an attorney for Lowndes County Schools says simply, what we produced to the sheriff is a raw feed with no edits. And then from the attorney for the sheriff's office, my client has confirmed that the video was not altered or edited by anyone within the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office. They both maintain that what we
they haven't been edited.
What was recorded. What about the corner where the gym mats are, or where Kendrick's body was?
Okay, look. See, when they get ready to show that, see this, they'll go to mats. We see a mat right there, mat right there, mat right there, mat right there. The other mats must be on this end. When they get ready to show us the next video, they showing y'all these mats up here. And I don't understand it. Right here. Right. Wait, let me show you.
I mean, that seems to be the key place. We've known there was a camera there.
Right here.
You saw the video from that camera.
Right this. And that's not where the mats was on the floor where I just showed y'all. Why is it showing us this side of the mat? Do y'all see all them guys in that gym? Now, I just thought about that. I just told y'all it's going to have to take a ton of boys to push that mat. A ton of boys. Almost a football team. The move that push that mat, y'all. The mat not easy, no easy mat to push. I thought about these boys, some boy. I'm not blaming these boys, but look how many boys. What I just tell y'all, that it's gonna take a ton of boys to roll this ball up in that mat. In that gym, so far I see one. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold up. Let me see. They're gonna show some more. Let me take it back. I'm not saying they did it, but I'm just saying it's gonna take a lot of boys to move that mat. And I wonder why those kids, those other teenagers, they're not even going to their first period class. I don't see them coming out that gym. They still in that gym. See, we used to have to run them out the gym to make them, well, in high school, run them out the gym, make them run, make them go to class. And in middle school, we used to have to make, all right, y'all, it's time to go to class, roll the balls in. You're not going to play no more. Roll the ball in like that. I'm trying to understand why are those boys still in this gym and they need to be in class. They look like the morning shift to me. This looked like an AM shift to me.
Kendrick's body was ultimately found. That seems to be the key place. We've known there was a camera there.
Look at all these boys in that gym. Y'all don't see all them boys in that gym. It got to be some more boys in that gym. They skipping some more boys. There's some more boys missing. That goes some boys, but you need some more boys to move that mat, that long mat. But look like to me, the coach already got the mats rolled up. But we're gonna look at some mats in a minute. See, it's a lot of boys in the gym now.
This
See, that boy had his shirt out. One boy went this way, got his shirt off. See, they supposed to be getting ready to walk to class. They supposed to be getting ready to go to class.
And I want to show you the video. It's blurry. Of all 36 cameras, a video that was provided.
But these boys are not going to class. They playing basketball. Kendrick, it's not playing basketball this morning. He didn't play basketball to me that morning from what they showing us. Allegedly. Everything I say is alleged.
It's almost impossible to make out any of the faces. And if you look at the corners, the top left of the image, those are the mats in which Kendrick Johnson was found. What you don't see is the top of the mats. And we know why that's important, because sheriff's deputies say that he climbed in through the top of the mat.
He lied.
The students who found him were playing on top of those mats. And in this video, because
you can't see you can't play on top of the mats. I don't understand what are they trying to, why is they saying that they played on top of the mat? The mats are on the floor. You can't play. He in the 12th grade, whatever grade he in. He ain't playing. You can't, them kids can't get in that mat. My little 8th graders couldn't even, my 9th grader couldn't even get in that mat. I wonder why they acting like that.
You can't see that. Also, we saw from one image to the next in the other videos, from looking at this, we see students playing basketball.
Right.
And then a few frames later, we see what appears to possibly be the nurse running in. Then we see someone running through with a gurney. So there is, we know from the
they
file,
skipped it.
They
got rid of it.
There are activities and there are events between these, but we just don't see them for what is the only blurry image.
I'm telling y'all something. Whoever did something, somebody took the tapes. Somebody did something with the tapes. It's more than just these boys in the gym, y'all. I'm gonna tell you something. All of them love to be in their gym playing basketball. It's some boys down on the other end playing basketball. That gym supposed to be filled. If they in there, they supposed to be going to their first period class, but they in that gym. It's more boys in their school than those boys that they got down there playing basketball. They can't fool me. I know that much. Them boys love basketball.
Angle of all 36 cameras that were provided by the school district and the sheriff's office. So I'm a little confused. I mean, we saw Kendrick running, and from one angle, the camera on the mat, does that show him approaching the mat?
See, he running toward those mats, just like that guy just said with the white hair. He said the same thing. I'm saying the angle that he's running towards the mat. Now, I'm going to tell you something that boys do, y'all. I'm going to tell you what boys do, especially when they play sports. They leave their tennis shoes. Well, I'm still saying tennis shoes. I'm old school. They wear their tennis shoes sometimes they leave their good shoes hid behind the mat, or they have their old shoes in the gym hid somewhere. See, he got books in his hand. He look like he got a book, yellow book in his hand. I don't know if he going to get his shoes that he left in the gym. They do that all the time, y'all. They do that all the time. Y'all know I ain't lying. I work with the kids, so I know they leave tennis shoes in there. They leave a book bag in there. They leave their coats. They leave something where they can go back and get it because they don't want to carry it, even though they got lockers. So it looked like he going over there to get a pair of shoes. That's what Kendrick looked like. He going over there to get his shoes. But he can't get in that mat, y'all. But I think he was going to get his tennis shoes. And he can't climb on top of the mats because the mats are on the floor.
In the hours of video there, but it's so blurry and so much is happening in that corner. There are bleachers there, and students, we know from the file, would sit in that area. The police say that they would play in that area, but because we can't see the top of the mats from the image, we can't tell if anyone ever went on top and when they went on top. And we don't see Kendrick running in that direction. And if we were to see someone going in that direction, the video...
y'all know that what time it happened. It probably wasn't the time. See, it's a lot going on with Kendrick situation. I don't even think it's happening in AM. I really don't. Let me show y'all something. Okay, the mat right here, y'all. I'm gonna show y'all. I see somebody did something. Hold on for a minute. They did something I need for them to do. Okay.
The case of Kendrick Johnson
Now,
at Georgia High School, whose
okay.
body was found upturned inside a.
First of all, I don't. I'm trying to understand why is all this? Why is the mat left out like this? Why is the cushion? Why is this stuff sitting up in the gym like this? Why is it up in the air like this in the gym? I didn't see this in his gym. And you see the holes right here, y'all. This is not this. This was under the mat. This is not on top of the mat. This is under the mat. That's something like the cushion. I don't understand why they got these cushions, all these stack up like this. Even in high school, I taught high school too. But that right there, we won't let them be standing up in the air like this. No.
They are headed on a trip on the day after what is their son's 24th birthday, which was yesterday of October 10th. What we're here to call for is simple. We're standing at the steps of the Richard B. Russell Federal Building. We know that Kendrick Johnson's investigation federally was handled initially by the Middle District of Georgia. We're at the Northern District of Georgia location, the Middle District being in Macon, along with the U.S. Attorney's Office out of Ohio, along with the Department of Justice, specifically the Homicide Division. July 20th, 2016, the federal investigation into Kendrick Johnson was closed. We are calling on the new administration to review the findings and reopen the federal investigation into Kendrick Johnson. We're also calling for a reopening of the state investigation into Kendrick Johnson. Very briefly, some reasons why we're calling for a reopening on the federal level is because of the unethical behavior, to put it lightly, on behalf of the federal government. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson were persuaded to meet with two U.S. attorney offices and again the Department of Justice without legal representation. We feel like that is unethical to say the least.
Yeah, let me tell y'all something about this case right here. This case right here is more like a Kanika Jenkins case. That girl who they found in the freezer was all her organs there. Kendrick Johnson, his organs was missing. His organs was missing, y'all. How do you take a child organ out without their moms and daddies know about that? Yeah, Kendrick Johnson's organs were missing from his body when it was at home for a second autopsy in 2013. His body was stuffed back together with newspaper. The second autopsy, the key detail about this case is the discovery. During a second autopsy, the pathologist, Dr. Williams Andrew Anderson, found the heart, the lungs, the liver, and other organs absent from the body. Replacement, the body cavity was filled with rolled up newspaper, including Black Friday ads. Wow, God, y'all, these not when you hear me do that, those are not laugh. Those are so angry. I be angry when you hear me say, those not laugh. Those that's my anger. That's my anger. I'm controlling it. Conflicting accounts. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation stated they returned the organs to the body. What? but the funeral home claimed they never received them and that the organs are discarded by the prosecutor due to natural decay. No, man, come on. Investigation. The FBI investigate the death by closed it inquires in 2016, finding no federal criminal violation. What? Though the family lawsuit continued in civil court. What? The family believes the family believes the missing organs and newspaper stuffing pointed to a cover up. And their son definitionally ruled accidental. What? Potentially being a homicide similar to Elmet Tip case. Oh, woo, loud child, shut up. Y'all letting them get away with that? They took that boy kid. They sold that boy. They sold that boy body, y'all. Oh my gosh. They sold that boy body part.
Would like the Trump administration to review the findings of that investigation. And the reason that we call on behalf of the Trump administration, not only because it is the current administration, but because of his recent comments as it relates to the Department of Justice, because of his recent stance that he has taken as far as the FBI. It is our agreement with this administration that the FBI and Department of Justice and other branches of government definitely have corruption running through them. We see this in the Kendrick Johnson investigation. Something that's also important to note that since the closing of the investigation, the Johnson family has exhumed their child's remains yet again and performed a third autopsy. The third autopsy confirms the second, which conflicts the first. The
Right.
first stated positional asphyxia. The second autopsy stated blunt force trauma. And since now the third autopsy states blunt force trauma. Also in the meeting with Mr. and Mrs. Johnson only, not their legal representation or anyone else that they felt should be a part of that meeting, they were told that the second autopsy is the most accurate. I want to make sure this is clear. At that point in time, it was only the positional asphyxiation one, the story that Kendrick crawled into this mat to retrieve a shoe, suffocated and died. We all felt that was bogus and knew it was bogus from Jump Street. At that time, there was a second autopsy which said blunt force trauma to the face of these parents. The federal government clearly stated that the second autopsy is the most accurate, but there is not enough information to point to any individuals or one individual. Therefore, we must close the case.
That ain't what it says right here when I'm reading. That's not what the second autopsy says right here. Uh-oh.
I mean, hell, they investigated the spokesperson of Subway by the name of Jared for at least 5 years. Kendrick Johnson case was not given that amount of time, and considering the rhetoric that was spewed. Lastly, I'll say...
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. It got what was Kendrick Johnson's second autopsy. The second autopsy, where the first one was accidental positional suffocation, and the second autopsy was blunt force trauma. How?
The state investigation is because we just can't act like this young man's organs went missing legally.
Right.
Like every single organ in his body.
That's what I was just saying. How y'all letting this happen like this? How is this happening like this? Y'all let this happen like this? That boy, that somebody got paid off that boy. Oh my goodness. See, that was illegal.
His heart, his liver, and his tongue and windpipe were all removed.
Right.
We have information that we will go in detail at a later date, but we have information where we're now able to accurately state that after the first autopsy that took place in the GBI lab, that the organs were placed in the bag and placed back into Kendrick's body, leaving the GBI lab. So through process of elimination, we feel like the state owes it to this family to locate or to determine what happened to the organs of Kendrick Johnson, and to just tie this on a national level. We see time and time again, family after family, loved ones are being found with their organs missing. I think this country, I think this is a human rights.
That's what I wonder, was that girl who with Kanika Jenkins. Y'all remember Kanika Jenkins? That girl, the other girl who they found in the hotel. I wonder, did they sell her body parts? I wonder. I wonder, did they do you know who I think about a lot when I see his body? What's that boy name? Rapper in Chicago. That boy, I wonder, did they do him like that? Who got shot in Atlanta? Oh, what his name was? No. They had the dreads. Who used to be with can't think.
That's on a global level, to be quite honest. We owe it to find out what is happening to the organs of our loved ones, of our children, of our friends, and that does not need to go unchecked. So, to recap, we're calling for an opening of the investigation on the federal level, along with the reopening of the investigation on the state level. At this time, I will bring up global human rights activist Dr. Joe Beasley. Well, my condolences remain the parents of this young man. That was also a couple of cases of that making a head of the
Pop, so we can't hear you, Pop. You're going to have to get a little louder. Oh, they is their dumpster. Come on, Dad. Don't be scared to talk. Put the microphone on your mouth.
And I was confident because he was so confident that he had some information that would confirm some of the suspects in this case. There was guilt involved. I was really shocked when I learned that this case had been set aside. I've been coming around here for a long time, almost 83 now. Something just don't make any sense. This is one of the cases that don't make any sense. How is it that a young man would get rolled up in a mat and get some that some cases? It just doesn't make any sense. So I joined this family, this attorney spokesman, and said this needs to be reopened. It just didn't pass the smell test, quite frankly. So justice for this family, losing a loved one, a young man that potentially could have been president of the United States. So much progress snuffed out by rogues. So we'll continue to stand with this family, this representation of volume of population. And we want justice and justice need to be reopened. Thank you. I want to make sure we're clear. Kendrick Johnson's federal investigation was not closed, stamped accidental death. That's extremely important. I already stated about the second autopsy being the most accurate, which was stated by members of the federal government, but it is not stamped as an accidental death. Also, I want to make sure we're clear. Kendrick Johnson federal investigation was one of the top 3 domestic priorities of then Attorney General Loretta Lynch.
Right.
Evidence. Last point before we bring up Mr. Johnson. We have knowledge that during the tenure of Loretta Lynch, there was a letter mailed to the Attorney General signed off on several retired FBI agents saying in this witch hunt, stop depleting resources of the federal government for this witch hunt. We don't have time to recap the whole story, but we know that an active federal government that lives in Valdosta's home was raided, items were seized, along with his two sons in separate universities. All three, the home and the two different university dorm rooms, were all raided by the FBI.
What?
Since when does the FBI hit their own and not have good reason to? There are too many unanswered questions. The fact that the government asked Mr. and Mrs. Johnson or persuaded them to meet with them and them only, not to mention some of the things that were being said as agents were in Valdosta that gave this family a sense of comfort to go in without their legal representation. So at the very least, we feel that this administration should do an investigation into the closing, and at the very least, sit down with this family and do a redo of those findings, along with legal representation and whomever else they deem fit. We'll have last words from the founder of Kendrick Johnson. We are seeking justice for our son Kendrick. It still is an overwhelming form.
Planning to publish your book?
When? Oh, it's in time. Thank you, Jesus.
And all I can say this time is we are still on hold, fighting for justice, and calling for the reopening of the federal investigation. I'll take any questions. You stated a lot of points that we may not be familiar with. You're saying, okay, well, for example, what was the issue with the family, the parents being explained to about where the investigation, I guess, included? Well, having been a part of a number of closing meetings of investigations, or even meetings that are moving forward with charges, I've never, in my 15 years, and I know there's a couple of folks here my senior, but I've never seen a family go in being suggested that they do not have legal representation. I mean, it's asinine to me, considering that a U.S. attorney from the Middle District of Georgia, a U.S. attorney from the Northern District of Ohio, and a member of the Department of Justice, all of these are representatives or agents of this judicial system, or criminal justice system here in this country. So to ask a family to go in without their legal representation, unethical to say the least, but unwise. I think a move on our end, and but since it was a suggestion, not even really a suggestion, honestly, it was almost like dangled over their head. That's the only way that they would meet with them. What do you have to hide from folks that are in the legal field? Number one, are folks that are very versed with this case. And now let me make sure we're clear. It was July 20th, 2016. Here we are, 3 years later. This family was trusting. I mean, they were rightfully so. They were trusting because they had members that were, in constant communication with them. So I do understand, how that mistake could have taken place. But combined with the verbiage that the second autopsy is the most accurate, I mean, how do you think a family feels leaving a meeting with the investigating body saying that they know that he was murdered, but we just don't have enough evidence? So that doesn't mean you close. That means you keep hoping. And what was wrong with the meeting that they had? I'm sorry? What was wrong with the meeting that they had? No legal representation, and the fact that the meeting was closed after saying that your son, we believe, died of actions not of his own. And let me clearly state, your son died of blunt force trauma, because that was the assessment of the second autopsy. And what do you think went wrong with that meeting? I think there was no legal representation there or anyone else there that could have continued to poke holes shock, and this is no discredit to them by any means, but you know, a family has their own pains and issues to deal with. You need another set of eyes, you need another set of brains in there. The same way they had multiple people in there. You know, I don't think a family has the ability, no matter how capable they are, to process all the layers that take place in the closing of a federal investigation, especially with being told that the second autopsy is the most accurate.
Are you saying they were taken advantage of?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
What is that? What are you saying?
Well, taken advantage of, I think, would be a little too light. I think they were exploited. I think that their kindness was taken for weakness. I mean, let's be clear, man. I mean, this murder has turned the city of Valdosta upside down. It has split, you know, family members and friends. FBI agents' homes and his son's dorms getting raided is not something that happens on the norm. This family has been a victim of ridicule over and over again, acting as if that they are trying to do anything other than seek justice for their child. You know, I think it was a legal game that was played in a smoke screen in a sense. And if there's nothing to hide, there should be no problem with bringing in whomever they choose along with legal representation to do a redo.
And what was the point of you mentioning that certain people's doors were raided, homes were raided? What was the point of that?
Well, the point of that is clear because at one point in time, the local FBI agent, along with his two sons that were classmates or schoolmates of Kendrick, were the target of the federal investigation. Those three targets, you know, got hit as targets do. Their place of living, their dwellings were raided. We know just by working in the community that when the FBI comes and raids your house, they got a 98-point-something% conviction rate. So if they raid the house of their own, we would think that would be a lot higher, which is the reason why that letter was sent to Loretta Lynch. A lot of people didn't like this administration of color poking and prying in the backwoods of Valdosta. And it's our position that maybe this administration, due to the pressure of some of retired FBI agents, which we have a letter that we know that she received, maybe that caused some influence, which is why calling on this current administration, one that seems to understand that there's some corruption at the federal level. And we feel like you don't need to look any further than the death of Kendrick Johnson, the murder of Kendrick Johnson. Well, absolutely he could. You know, absolutely. Again, for an administration that utters that the Department of FBI, can be bullies. For a individual that utters that there is corruption even at the high level, of course he is uttering that as it relates to himself. But he's getting a lot of credit right now for criminal justice reform. I have a couple of colleagues that are a part of this coalition of organizations that support the criminal justice reform. So we feel like the epitome of a case of corruption dealing with federal government is the murder, the death of Kendrick Johnson. So absolutely, can the President of the United States help? Absolutely. Will he help is a whole other story.
Why does the family think that there's something suspicious about this?
Because from day one, they were told that their son dove headfirst into a mat, suffocated, and died. I mean, just the blatant disrespect, the overt labeling of ignorance that they had on this family to think that they were just going to take that. And
Right.
they ain't laid down since. You know, it's a family that, you know, every day of the week for years was at the steps of the courthouse and still continues to protest. It's a family that participated in civil disobedience. Seven members were arrested, including the parents. This is a family that travels the country helping out other families who have even gotten justice or roads to it when it appeared that Kendrick Johnson, by way of the federal government, talking to this family that his death would be rectified with justice. And now here we are approaching 7 years in January, standing here in Atlanta, demanding a reopening. It's actually one of the worst miscarriages of justice of any case all across this nation.
Why is the answer the investigators gave not acceptable?
Because you have two conflicting autopsy reports.
Right.
Two conflicting autopsies that support one another that conflict. The only
They sure did. They got a first one and a second one. That first one, accidental positional suffocation, and the second one is blunt force trauma. Wow, that's crazy.
That is that one of the makes sense. I was going to say the only one that was the basis for closing, but understand the basis for closing this investigation was not that they determined Kendrick Johnson died as an accident. It was stated that the second autopsy is the most accurate, which was blunt force trauma. And again, since then, there has now been a third autopsy, which supports the second, which conflicts the first. So they ain't never gonna rest.
Wow, I don't see that about the third one. Woo.
This investigation took place solely under the Obama administration. I don't care what the name of the previous administration would be. If the result is where we are now, we would be asking for this new administration to look into it. But again, when you persuade them not to bring in their legal representation or others who can help in that discussion, and then when you state to them that the second autopsy is most accurate, we feel like this administration is a very good fit to understand that there is corruption in the FBI and also the Department of Justice. So we feel like, along with this First Step Act, the criminal justice reform that he's getting a lot of kudos for, the death and murder of Kendrick Johnson is something that just fits hand in glove with the rhetoric spewing from the administration.
Change my title.
Well, yeah, we plan on sending certified letters to the DOJ, to the administration themselves.
Senator
The
Trump.
administration itself. We have a member, two that I named, but one that has spoken with me personally and plans on talking to the president about this. By no means are we naive. You know, we do understand that there's different ideologies and hateful rhetoric that has been spewed. But I think I can easily speak for this group here. We don't care what some of your other initiatives may be, as long as we've got a common denominator on criminal justice reform and righteousness and fairness in these United States of America, are yet to be. So that is where we feel our common denominator is as it relates to the corruption in the FBI and corruption in the Department of Justice. Well, you have a dead child and no one held accountable. You have
Right.
a dead child and family being just
And in a school system. And inside a school system. Nobody charged for that?
through the media as if, you know, they have a problem, but they're causing the problem. You have a dead child where nobody's held accountable. You got a dead child that, you know, took place during school hours on school grounds. You know,
Right.
you want to give an honorary diploma. You got a dead child down in South Georgia where we know that he died by no fault of his own. We have two autopsies that support that. So justice or a form of it would be someone held responsible, someone,
Right.
a person or persons held responsible.
The school system, the gym, teachers, the coach, because that's a wrestling match. That's a wrestling match. So you got to hold somebody accountable for it. It's not even supposed to be sitting up like that.
For who killed Kendrick Johnson and to help
And the body part gone.
to get to this point where we're almost 7 years later still screaming, what does justice look like? Thank you guys. Really appreciate that.
All right, yeah, there you go. There you go. That's that in that I hope that young man family get justice. Kendrick Johnson family get justice like they supposed to. I did not know until today that there was a second autopsy that is sounding different than the first group. Wow, I can't believe that. I can't believe that. Y'all can't believe that. This a whole school system. And you find a child, they in a school gym mat. Then the body part on, boy, they be on head of it. Woo, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Somebody, they see, like they said, that first autopsy. Wow, accidental, positional suffocation, and then the second autopsy, blunt force trauma. How it gonna be two? And the third one gonna be what? Oh Lord, honey. Ooh. And they try and say that the organs were destroyed through natural process due to the opposition of Kendrick. No, I don't believe that. That's that boy right there. These young people, they got everybody need their young body part. All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the content, and I'm glad that I covered Kendrick. I think boys need awareness. Young men need awareness on their cases, just like the girls, young women cases. So I try to benefit toward that, looking at the male and the female. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching.